Hello guys, welcome back. So as you guys can see, maybe I am at the airport. I just love flying, sorry. So I'm here in Zanzibar in Tanzania, and I spent here an incredible 1 week here. Now we're heading back to Arusha, also in Tanzania, before we get back to Kenya. So and I thought, because actually a friend of mine, she lives with me in Kenya, she asked me, Sinja, what is actually the difference between Tanzania and Kenya? First of all, it is very similar if you want to travel to Kenya or Tanzania. That's why actually a lot of clients of mine, like travelers who want to go on safari, they get confused because they're not sure which one to choose. And I'm not here to tell you like in general this safari is better or this safari is better, because I can tell you for sure both of the safaris, like it doesn't matter where you choose it, it will be a once in your lifetime experience. The second thing is, finally, is about the traffic. Now I'm too dark, maybe I can sit down here. So in Kenya we have huge traffic, especially if you are in Nairobi or in Mombasa. Just like going from Nairobi one end to the other can take you 2 hours, imagine. And in Mombasa it's the same, you can be stuck. I assume it will be more traffic in Dar es Salaam, but in Arusha, or traveling, or going on safari and this kind of things, there is zero, no traffic at all. The food is very similar. Here in Tanzania, they have like chips mayai, which is like chips and eggs on top, and there's so much food like Zanzibar pizza, which is not a pizza at all, and kind of street food, especially in Zanzibar. I would advise doing a street tour in Zanzibar when you get here, but also in Kenya. Like what I love is, it's getting a bit noisy, is I feel like, but maybe that's just because I explored better areas, I find it way better for myself, that's just my personal opinion, to have the street food in Mombasa. Mombasa is the best way, the best place to be in Kenya if you want to try street food. It is just one of the best things ever. In Kenya, we talk English and Swahili. These are both the official languages. So everyone can talk English, almost everyone, almost, and also Swahili. But for us as a traveler, there's nothing much like, woo, I can see our airplane is coming. We are flying with wait until it comes inside. I will show you again. But in Kenya, there's no problem. You can talk to everyone in English, and almost, not unless you go to the villages, really rural areas, people will understand. But here, in Tanzania, it's a bit different. Okay, let me be honest. It's a lot different. People here, the official language is Swahili. There's nothing like English. People learn English in school. People who have a lot to do with tourists, they learn English, they know how to talk English. People who are highly educated, they know English. But if you travel a bit, or even like taxi drivers, going to the streets, it doesn't matter where you are, people struggle with English. So even myself, I have a very broken Swahili. I struggled, but I managed. But I feel like for someone who doesn't know Swahili at all, it can be a bit tricky here. If you travel like low budget, or you say like you want to really travel and experience, and if your trip is not organized at all. Okay, is that our plane? I think this is our plane. what a flight. I just love flying. Who else loves flying here? And last time when we were flying, like this time I think it was just a bit cloudy, but when we came from Arusha to Zanzibar, we actually saw Kilimanjaro, so super clear. It was so beautiful. This time I think it was just too cloudy. And just in case if you wonder, I did a lot of research like before we were actually deciding to fly to Zanzibar, which airline we are taking, because when it comes to flying, and especially now when I fly also with my baby, I can't just rely on any local African airline. So I had to do a lot of research and trust tour operators, and also, yeah, I think Precision Air was the one I found, which was the most reliable, and I'm so happy. And for now, they only took us safe every time we are taking them. Then another thing you have to compare, which I found very funny, is actually the cost. The cost of traveling Tanzania compared to Kenya. And actually living, I think in Tanzania it's cheaper than in Kenya. And of course now if you say like, of course you cannot like really compare Arusha with Nairobi, because Nairobi is the capital city and it's very big and it's way more developed than Arusha or even Dar es Salaam. So that's another difference. But living there is still way cheaper. But now when it comes to going on safari, funny thing is safari in Tanzania is even more expensive than it is already in Kenya. And as you guys might know, going on safari is already expensive. One big difference, because we're at the airport and I just got reminded, is that when you enter in Kenya, you still do need to have your COVID vaccine, and you also need to get your visa online. So before you come, it just takes like 2 days or even 1 day to come out, but you have to apply it before you actually come here. However, in Tanzania, where I am right now, is that you can easily get your visa on arrival without any issues, and you don't have to be vaccinated at all. You can go and get your PCR test before you come here, so you don't need even to get the vaccine. So Tanzania makes it easier for travelers to actually come in. To be honest, like 100% personally, I have to say, when it comes to the most beautiful beaches and just the ocean, it was so like bluish. It is not that beautiful as in Kenya. It is beautiful as well in Kenya, don't get me wrong. We have the most white sandy beaches as well, and I think Diani got voted so many times to the best beach in Africa. But when it comes to the water, I felt like Zanzibar has a more specific and more unique water, which we don't have in Kenya. And also in like Zanzibar, you can swim with turtles and dolphins. In Kenya, you can only like see the dolphins while you are on a dolphin safari. But I have to say that you have to be careful. Like I actually wanted to go and swim with the turtles. Then I did some more research and I figured out that it's not that ethical to swim with them. And they are like they call it natural pool, but they actually put them in a pool just for the clients, for tourists to come swim with them, make pictures and touch them. And then after that they are saying they are releasing them in the wildlife. So when it comes to this kind of things, you have to be very careful if this is what you want to support while you travel, just for your experience, or if you say, okay, it's not a must, yeah, let me just go and maybe watch them or like go on a safari or something else, but don't in particular be and swim with them if it's really that necessary for you. So when it comes about internet and moving around, I think moving around, for example, let's start with that. Kenya is a bit more developed, a bit more faster, like for example in terms of Uber. Like in Nairobi we have Uber, we have Bolt, we have like, I feel like a million different apps which you can call on your phone, even for bikes, for tuk-tuks, to take you from A to B. Even in Mombasa, like we have different places where we have this Uber which works. But in now here in Tanzania, the only thing where you have Uber, the only city which I came across is actually Dar es Salaam. And like in Arusha you have like in-driver it's called, but it's not that you call and you get an Uber. It's more like you have to call and bargain with the driver, and this is all like apps for locals, not for tourists. So it makes it a little bit more hard to move around in Tanzania if you don't have your own means of transport, or if you're not on safari, and if you don't have booked or hired your own Land Cruiser or car. Last word when it comes to internet. I think there's no big difference. You have both to have internet and reliable internet. You have to get a local SIM card. Either you are in Kenya or in Tanzania. That's the only thing that works. Because here in public or somewhere, you can't rely on Wi-Fi. Maybe if you're in a good hotel, then you will have good Wi-Fi, but that's it. If you are in a 3-star hotel or even worse than that, I don't think you will get Wi-Fi, and even Wi-Fi might not reach everywhere where you are. That was it, guys. I tried giving you for now what I feel about compared Kenya and Tanzania. Maybe next time I travel it will be different, who knows. But yeah, if you need any help in planning your trip in Kenya or Tanzania, let me know. You guys know where to find me.